I swear Justin Bieber's been fighting ghosts for years. Selena's ghosts. Every breakup, every song, every shady post since 2018. It's like he's been trying to convince himself he's over her. But the receipts say otherwise. From emotional lyrics to last-minute relationship decisions, we're digging into every desperate move Justin's made over the years just to move on from Selena Gomez. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the tea when it drops. Because trust me, this one's messy. All right, let's get into it. Honestly, when Justin married Hailey Baldwin, just months after his final breakup with Selena in 2018, we all thought, okay, that's it. That's the most desperate move ever. Like, man didn't even give his heart time to breathe before sprinting down the aisle. But as it turns out, that wasn't even the half of it. What we saw on the surface, the courthouse wedding, the PDA, the love of my life Instagram posts, was just Justin trying to convince himself and maybe even Selena that he had moved on. But deep down, the guy was still tangled up in that old flame. And that's exactly what we're unpacking in this video. From sudden proposals to suspicious song lyrics, emotional meltdowns, and even those weird social media moments that always seem to pop up right when Selena makes a big move. We're going through every desperate thing Justin's done just to escape the shadow of Selena Gomez. Because trust me, the story doesn't stop at that wedding ring. It only gets messier from there. Remember, he and Selena had just ended things for real in early 2018 after almost a decade of that on and off roller coaster. And by September that same year, boom, he's married. No long engagement, no deep healing era, nothing. Just vibes and vows. And to the world, it looked like a love story. But to those who were really watching, it felt like desperation wrapped up in a tuxedo. You could see it in his face during interviews. He was always saying things like, "God bless me with Hailey," but the energy screamed, "I'm trying so hard to convince myself I'm okay." And poor Hailey, she became the emotional first aid kit. She was picking up every broken piece that he never gave himself time to fix. And honestly, we all thought, wow, this marriage might have been the biggest move he's ever made to finally move on from Selena. But no, that was just the beginning. Because what came next wasn't healing. It was a full-blown emotional spiral that showed Justin wasn't done fighting his past at all. So after the wedding, glow faded. And let's be real, it didn't last that long. Things started getting messy, like really messy. People close to Justin said his mental health took a serious hit just months after the wedding. And it wasn't just the regular post-honeymoon blues, it was deep, dark, what did I just do with my life kind of energy. Hailey herself even said there were days she didn't know if he'd make it through. Imagine being barely 21, newly married, and suddenly having to play nurse, therapist, and emotional babysitter for someone who's clearly not over his past. That's not love, that's survival mode. And Justin, he admitted it. He literally said in one interview, "I thought marriage was going to fix all my problems, and it didn't." Like, he said the quiet part out loud. He wanted Hailey to do what he couldn't do for himself. Fill that empty space Selena left behind. And there were moments where you could see it. That time, they were out at Universal Studios. Hailey was trying to smile, hold his hand, keep it cute for the cameras. And Justin just looked emotionally drained. The man was there, but not there. It's like his body moved on, but his heart never really got the memo. Hailey was out here trying to be everything for him, his rock, his comfort, his safe place, but he was still fighting ghosts. And honestly, that was the moment people started realizing this wasn't some fairy tale marriage. It was two people trying to fix one person's heartbreak. And the worst part, the more Justin tried to act like everything was okay, the more cracks started to show. It was becoming painfully clear this wasn't a couple healing together. It was Justin trying to convince the world he was happy when deep down he still looked haunted by his past. And guess who that past always led back to? Yep, because right around this time, fans started noticing something suspicious about Justin's music. Lyrics started dropping like breadcrumbs, and if you knew their history, you could read between the lines. Take tracks like Ghost, and when he sings about being haunted by someone he can't have. Fans immediately connected it to Selena. Social media exploded with theories. He still wants her. He's obsessed with the past. And the more you listened, the more it felt like every verse was him wrestling with what he lost. But it wasn't just subtle hints. Interviews revealed a lot, too. Justin once talked about relationships in a way that made it clear he was still comparing Hailey to, someone else. He said things about heartbreak, mistakes, and regret that were eerily specific to his history with Selena. Even public appearances had their moments. When asked about moving forward, his expressions, the tiny winces, the half smiles, fans dissected every micro-expression as Selena flashbacks. And let's be real, this wasn't just about music or interviews. It was the timing of his moves. The songs came after major Selena milestones, like new projects or public appearances, almost like he was responding to her life from afar. It painted a picture of a man who wasn't really over someone he claimed to have moved on from. Which brings us to the next layer, the desperate attempts Justin made to rewrite his story publicly, and why so many people believe that even his new life with Hailey was part of that. From the very beginning of his marriage, Justin went all out in public displays to convince the world he was over Selena. The constant PDA, the social media gushing, the vacation photos, it wasn't just romance. Fans noticed a pattern. Every big gesture seemed timed to overshadow Selena's life updates. It was like he was competing with his own past, trying to rewrite the narrative in front of everyone. Even the little things were suspicious. Remember, the songs, the interviews, the candid moments with Hailey, all strategically publicized. Every smile, every post, every cryptic lyric, it was all curated to show, look, I'm moved on, I'm happy, I'm past it. Meanwhile, fans started digging deeper, pointing out connections and timings that suggested otherwise. But the most revealing moments weren't just public posts. It was the subtle, behind-the-scenes signs, lingering glances, uncomfortable energy around certain events, and comments in interviews that hinted at regret, obsession, or unresolved feelings. Every move he made screamed one thing to those paying attention. Justin Bieber was still carrying Selena's shadow with him. And maybe always would, and that's just the surface. There are deeper, more desperate moves we haven't even gotten to yet. Moves that some might call emotional sabotage or even self-sabotage, all in his attempt to accept the reality of having lost the love of his life. Remember when the news dropped that Selena was engaged in 2023? Justin couldn't resist. Out came a Lord of the Rings meme, joking about how girls act on social media after getting proposed to. The timing was uncanny. Fans couldn't help but notice it was posted just after Selena shared her happy news with Blanco. Many read it as a subtle dig, or a very public way of showing that he wasn't entirely over her. Then came the erratic posts. Just as Selena was saying her "I do" to Blanco in a dreamy Santa Barbara ceremony, Justin's social media lit up with cryptic signals. One post showed him shooting hoops with the song "I Do" playing in the background, a subtle, almost painful echo of the vows Selena was exchanging. He followed it up with random snapshots of his day, candid moments, behind-the-scenes videos, and cryptic captions that left fans scrambling to interpret whether he was mocking, mourning, or just venting. Meanwhile, Selena was glowing in her Ralph Lauren gowns, surrounded by friends and family, stepping confidently into a new chapter of her life. Every carefully curated detail of her wedding, the heartfelt speeches, the beaming smiles, the intimate moments, was a stark contrast to Justin's digital chaos. It was as if while she celebrated love, he was documenting a personal reckoning, a diary of someone still very much haunted by the past. Looking back, it's clear Justin has taken every imaginable step to distance himself from Selena, rushing into a marriage, posting cryptic memes, performing public displays of moving on. And yet, the shadow of Selena's life and happiness lingers over him. His gestures, his online antics, his lyrics, they all tell the same story. Some connections refuse to fade, no matter how hard you try. For fans, it's a saga of obsession, regret, and raw emotion. Justin's efforts to move past Selena have been anything but simple, and one thing is undeniable. Even after all these years, her presence still echoes in his world.